Hello to everyone. Good day. So, first and foremost, pasensya na. Hindi natuloy ang ating unang Google Meet for this second semester. Um, Meron kasi akong direct contact with someone who tested, to someone who had a positive result sa RT-PCR niya. Kaya medyo sumasama na rin ang pakiramdam ko ngayon. And to be honest with you, hanggang ngayon, habang nag-uusap tayo, medyo masama pa rin yung pakiramdam ko. So, please bear with me with this video discussion. I'll try my best to explain everything and subukan ko na rin maging direct as much as possible. So, without further ado, um, we'll start with our discussion. So, I told you guys last time that we will be focusing on module number 2, number 4, and number 5, as far as I can remember. And um, of course, since this is our first discussion, mainly I'll be talking about introduction to our subject STRAMA, or Strategic Management with TQM, with Total Quality Management. And yun, susubukan nating maging familiar with how strategic management works. So, yun, without further ado, let's begin. First, we will be talking about the strategic management models and its phases. Kung napansin nyo, we skipped this. This is the introduction to strategic management. If you guys want, you can read this part of the module number 1. Pero as far as I am concerned, gusto ko sana mag-focus tayo dun sa mga mas importanteng bagay. Strama introduction, I can give it to you. Basically kasi ang difference ng operations management, ito yung subject natin last semester. Operations management is mainly on the process or the operation or the work itself of a business. Ito yung parang pinaka-proseso, pinaka yun nga, tulad ng sabi ko, no? Step by step process kung paano natin kung paano tayo makakapag-produce ng ating final output. Um, Transforming raw materials or raw products into something that is marketable, something that is sellable to the consumers or to the customers. So ngayon, we are talking about strategic management. And in strategic management, mas malawak ang saklaw niya kasi when we talk about strategic management, we will be talking about mainly decision making on ano nga ba ang proper na decision or ano ang mas magandang decision na gawin for the betterment of the company. We will formalize strategies, different strategies that can be implemented sa ating business in order for us to achieve our objectives or our goals. So yun yung strategic management. We will try to create strategies. We'll try to create strategies and implement it in our business so that we can achieve our goals, our objectives. So in strategic management, we have different phases. We have different phases that we will be talking about. And yun yung parang pinaka-focus natin dito sa module number 2. So if you will focus on this figure we have here, we have 4 phases. Namely, we have environmental scanning, we have strategy formulation, we have strategy implementation, and evaluation and control. And all of this, nakapaloob feedback and learning. In every phase, there should be feedback and there should be a learning process. So, ayun nga, no? Gusto kong sabihin na we have 4 phases here in strategic management. Uh, itong apat na to ang pinaka-simple at pinaka-effective. Um, this is a model proposed by Whelan and Hunger. It can be argued to be the most simple but effective. As you can see on the model above, the process involves four phases, namely environmental scanning, strategy formulation, strategy implementation, and lastly, evaluation and control. So, in each phases, meron tayong mga kailangan gawin. Meron tayong mga kailangan, meron tayong mga activities na kailangan gawin in order for us to complete each phases. So, let's begin. First phase we have is environmental scanning. By the way, what we'll talk about here is mainly the parang pinaka-summary ng ating pag-uusapan. So we have here environmental scanning. With environmental scanning, I think you are familiar with this already. What we'll talk about are the external and internal environments of our business. So this is the phase of strategic planning where the environmental factors are taken into consideration. Pag-uusapan natin dito ang internal at external environments ng ating business. And what tool can be utilized here kung pag-uusapan natin ang mga internal at external factors, kundi ang pinaka-familiar na tayo na SWOT analysis or ang ating strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. Whereas when we talk about strength and weakness, these are factors that can be observed in the internal environment, whereas with opportunity and threats are commonly observed in the external environment. So we have here, SWOT analysis focused on strength and weakness, factors that are internal, and opportunities and threats, factors that are external. Di ba nga, yun na pinag-uusapan sa environmental scanning. Now, to help us further define, ano nga ba ang internal at external factors? Ano nga ba ang pinagkaiba nila? Sinabi natin dito that strength and weakness are factors that can be observed in the internal environment. What does internal environment entail? When we talk about internal environment, ito yung mga bagay na kaya nating kontrolin within our control, within our organization. Ito yung mga bagay na, kaya nating kontrolin. Kaya nating, ito yung mga bagay na ginagawa natin. Mga bagay na within our environment, saklaw ng ating kumpanya. When we talk about opportunities and threats, we talk about external environment. Ito naman yung hindi na natin kontrolado. Ito yung outside our environment, outside our business. Ito yung mga bagay na, sadyang hindi na natin sila kontrolado. Pero, if given the chance, if given the, if we will implement Strama, we can control our external environments and make it into our strengths or weaknesses. We also use special analysis and Porter's 5 forces. Ito yung mga tools na ginagamit sa Strama. Tuturo ko to on the latter part of our semester. So sa ngayon, focus tayo sa SWOT analysis. And that is the first phase of Strama, of strategic management, which is environmental scanning. Tayo, as the management side of the business, will conduct SWOT analysis. We will identify the strengths and weaknesses of our company within the organization or within our business, things that we can control, and the opportunities and threats outside our company, our external environment, things that we cannot control. So, yun yung unang phase, environmental scanning. So, pag kayo, makakaroon na kayo ng businesses in the future and you want to formulate strategies for your business, ito yung unang-unang gagawin ninyo. And I think also an important factor when it comes to formulating strategies. You have to first identify your your strengths, your weaknesses within the company, and the opportunities and threats outside our company. After that, after identifying um, all the ang tawag dito, ayun nga, all the internal and external factors, we will now then formulate our strategies here in second phase. This is the phase where you set strategic objectives and formulate strategies to achieve organizational and strategic objectives. So dito, sa phase na ito, dito na tayo mag-formulate ng ating strategies with the use of the environmental scanning. Since tapos na tayong i-identify lahat ng ating strengths, lahat ng ating weaknesses, lahat ng opportunities and threats outside our company, we can now then formulate our own strategies with the use of the first phase, yung environmental scanning. So tandaan ninyo, mas madaling mag-formulate ng strategies if you already scanned your environment. If you already did your SWOT analysis. Bakit? Kasi syempre, pag diretso kayo sa pag-formulate ng strategies ninyo, hindi nyo alam kung ano yung elements. Saan tayo magbabase ng ating strategy? Saan tayo magbabase? Saan tayo ano yung reference na gagamitin natin in order for us to formulate a strategy that will be implemented in our business in order for our objectives and goals to be achieved. So, mas maganda na in-identify nyo na yung mga bagay na iyon. Bakit? Tingnan natin dito sa diagram na ito. Once that you identified your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities and threats, you can now formulate your own strategies. You should always utilize your strengths. You should always minimize weakness, of course, as much as possible. You should always exploit opportunity, and you should always avoid threats. So yun yung parang dito mag-focus yung pag-formulate ng strategies ninyo. Once you have identified your strengths, once you have identified your weakness, opportunities, and threats, you can now minimize your weaknesses, you can exploit opportunities that you have identified, and you can now avoid threats that you have identified. So for example, example. Si SM, gusto raw niyang pumasok sa banking industry. Ngayon, si SM, isa sa mga strengths niya ay marami siyang pera. Mayaman si SM. Diba? So, since mayaman si SM, marami siyang pera, pwede niya ngayon i-utilize yung strength niya na iyon at bibili na lang siya ngayon ng mga existing banks na. At yun ang ginawa niya. SM bought Banco de Oro in order to enter the industry, then merged with Equitable PCI to further expand its banking businesses. So yun yung ginawa ni SM. SM identified that one of their strengths is marami silang pera, mayaman sila. Kaya since gusto nilang pasukin yung banking industry, imbes na gumawa sila ng sarili nilang bangko, bumili na lang sila ng existing and trusted brands like BDO and Equitable. Another example is ito, SNR. Si SNR daw, pumasok siya dito sa ating industry or pumasok siya sa ating market, sa Philippine market, na walang ino-offer na milk tea products. Pero, milk tea is very much popular in our country. So, meron ngayong weakness si SNR kasi isa siya sa mga nag-offer ng mga food and beverage, pero hindi sila nakakapag-offer ng milk tea products, and milk tea products is very much popular here in our country. So in order to minimize the weakness, ang ginawa na lang nila is they created their own milk tea products by generating by using their since SNR is sort of like a supermarket, ginamit nila ngayon yung connections nila from different suppliers to create their own flavors, to have to have direct suppliers ng ingredients nila. And they created then their own milk tea products. So they minimized their weakness by creating their own milk tea products that will be competing with other milk tea products here in the Philippines. Next, ito, opportunities. Um, if I have if I want to implement something to your minds, no, my dear students, um, pag meron kayo nakitang problema sa sa paligid-ligid ninyo, you can turn those problems into opportunities. Uh, Hindi ko alam kung familiar kayo with with Ninong Rai. Ninong Rai is a YouTube YouTube celebrity, yeah, of some sorts. He creates vlogs for his audience, and I remember watching one of his videos, and dun sa video na yun, showcase na yung sarili niyang business. Yung business na ginawa niya before he entered the YouTube industry. Sabi niya dun, uh, dati kasi nagbebenta siya sa palengke ng mga ng mga karne. And nakita niya doon sa palengke na marami daw palaging tira na petso or yung breast part of the chicken. Laging mabenta kasi dyan, syempre, yung mga dark meat natin, like yung leg, yung thigh part, wing part, ganyan. Pero pagdating sa petso, konti lang ang bumibili. So maraming tira. So ibig sabihin, maraming supply ng petso. Ngayon, pag ganun kasi ang ginagawa ng mga ng mga tindero, of course, pag hindi na siya nagiging suitable for for sale, tinatapon na lang 'yon ng mga natin, ng mga nasa palengke. Pero so he saw that problem and made it into an opportunity. Sabi niya, since marami naman tirang petso, bakit hindi ako magsimula ng isang ng isang chicken business or chicken processing business. And doon nabuo yung kanyang sariling company, kanyang sariling business. Inangkat niya lahat ng mga tira-tirang petso sa palengke at ginawa niya itong produkto. Gumawa siya ng iba't ibang products like chicken teriyaki, chicken barbecue, herb chicken, mga ganyan, chicken ham, yung chicken oil niya, yung sikat na chicken oil, and everything else. So he saw merong problema doon sa kanyang community, which is yung oversupply ng petso, oversupply ng breast part. And he made that problem into an opportunity na, okay, bakit hindi ko bilhin yung mga tira-tirang petso na yon at gamitin iyon as my main ingredient for my business. And that is one way of exploiting an opportunity. Meron siyang nakitang opportunity and in-exploit niya yon at ginawa niya ngayon into business, yung chicken business niya. That is one way of exploiting your opportunities. And yun din sana ang gusto kong i-impart sa inyo. If you want to create your own business in the future, but you don't know you don't know what business you like to create, no? Scan the environment. Tingnan nyo yung paligid-ligid ninyo and see ano nga ba ang problema dito sa aming community. For example, baka mamaya mapansin mo na walang printing business doon sa paligid ninyo. Pero merong mga malalapit na schools. Merong mga maraming tao, urbanized, maraming mga nakatirang pamilya, pero walang printing services. So you can exploit that opportunity. Na okay, sige. So feeling ko magandang gumawa ng printing business dito. So yun, that's one. Dito sa amin, sa aming community dito, merong nag-exploit ng opportunity kasi wala masyadong water refilling station. So ang ginawa niya, gumawa siya ng water refilling station niya dito sa aming community. At ngayon, lahat kami dito around the vicinity is getting our water supply. Kumukuha kami ng water supply namin sa kanya. So yun, exploiting opportunities. Next one is threats. So sa threats naman, of course, ito yung mga bagay na may negative impact sa ating sa ating business. And by identifying the threats, you know what to avoid. Alam mo kung ano yung mga iiwasan mo ngayon. So, for example, 'di ba? Tayo sa ating industry, sa food industry, the threat of COVID is real, 'di ba? The threat of the pandemic is very much real. So, different businesses adjusted to avoid those threat, no? To avoid the threat of COVID. Like say for example, they minimized dine-in nga, 'di ba? Nakita niyo naman at the start of the pandemic, walang pwedeng mag-dine-in sa mga businesses, lahat puro take-out lang. And then they most of the establishments, what they did to dun sa kanilang dining area, ginawa nila yon as waiting area para dun sa mga nati-take out and deliveries. So, ganun yung ginawa nilang strategy in order to avoid the threat of COVID. And that is one way of avoiding threats. So it's really it's really important for us to identify the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities and threats around our business or within and around our business in order for us to know what can we utilize, what should we minimize, what can we exploit, and what we should avoid. And in this case, mas madali tayo ngayon makakapag-formulate ng ating strategies. So that is the second phase, no? That is the strategy formulation. So before moving forward, the third and fourth phase, first phase natin is the environmental scanning, wherein we will identify the strengths, the weakness, the strengths and weaknesses of our business, internal environment, and the opportunities and threats, the external environment, things that we cannot control. And after that, by identifying those factors, alam natin ngayon kung ano yung mga i-utilize natin na strengths. Alam natin kung ano yung mga weaknesses natin, kung paano natin to i-minimize. Alam natin ngayon kung ano yung mga i-exploit natin na opportunities. At alam natin ngayon kung ano yung mga iiwasan nating threats. And from those, we can formulate our own strategies in order for us to achieve our goals. So next one, of course, is strategy implementation. We will take some course of action na para magawa na natin yung mga pinag-usapan nating, mga finormulate nating strategies. And after that, we will do evaluation and control. After certain amount of time, you will then evaluate your own strategy. Ano ang nangyari? For example, for the first year that we implemented this strategy, what happened? Ano yung feedback na makukuha natin dito? Is it a good thing? Should we change something in our strategies, or should we change the way we approach? Ano ang gagawin natin? Should we make a step forward or take a step backwards muna and evaluate or formulate again some new strategies? And then yun, that is the whole phase of strategic management. ang pinaka-importante talaga dito is the environmental scanning. Knowing your own opportunities, knowing your own strengths and weaknesses, and knowing the opportunities and threats outside our industry. So that's it for module number 2. Now, let's proceed with module number 4, and this is strategic types. Before we move forward with module number 4, gusto ko lang sana magbigay ng mabilis na discussion about module number 3. What we have here is the levels of strategy. Sorry, nag-water break muna ako. Okay, so levels of strategy. What we have here, we have how do we implement strategies, no? Of course, when we start our own businesses, small businesses, of course, tayo lang ang gumagawa ng strategy natin for our own business. Pero pag kayo ay magiging parte ng mas malaking kumpanya, we have 3 levels of strategies. So first, we have the corporate level strategy. And when we talk about corporate level strategies, of course, ang nag-aano dito, ang nag-uusap-usap dito ay yung mga top level managers natin, or yung mga mga CEO, board of directors, operations management, yung CEO, yung operations officer pala, or yung COO natin. And usually ang pinag-uusapang strategy dito is for the movement of the whole company. Kung saan ba tayo ngayon pupunta? Are we focusing on the growth of a company, or are we focusing on stability or sustaining the current status of our business, or we will try to have retrenchment strategies in order for us to reduce cost, to reduce the cutting of expenses, decreasing production, divesting money from businesses. So when we talk about corporate level strategy, ang mga pinag-uusapan natin dito is the movement of the company. Kung paano gagalaw ang isang malaking company. Are we going to focus on moving forward? Tulad ng sabi ko kanina, no? Evaluation and control. Should we move forward with growth, or should we take a step back, like retrenchment strategies, or shall we try to sustain our current status, which is stability? So yun yung usually pinag-uusapan sa corporate level. Next, we have business level strategies. When we talk about business level, ito yung sa business unit. And ano nga ba ibig sabihin ng business unit? For example, 'di ba, sa isang ano bang magandang example? Okay. For example, sa Apple. Apple has many products. They have phones, they have tablets, they have earbuds, they have laptops. And those products, iba't ibang business unit 'yon. Kasi of course, merong sa pag-manufacture ng ng phones, it will take certain people to create phones. And then of course, yung mga gagawa ng phone, hindi naman sila pwedeng gumawa rin ng laptops. Sa laki ng Apple, ng company ng Apple, tingin nyo ba magtitipid sila na kung sino yung gumagawa ng cellphones, sila na rin yung gagawa ng laptops? Kung sino gumagawa ng laptops, sila na rin yung gagawa ng tablets? Kung sino gumagawa ng tablets, sila na rin yung gagawa ng mga ganito na mga ganyan? No. Apple, of course, since they are a huge company, they have different business units per product that they are offering. So, iba ang Iba ang management, iba ang team, iba ang business unit ng cellphones, iba ang management, iba ang team, iba ang gumagawa ng laptops, iba ang management, iba ang team, iba ang business units ng tablets, and so on and so forth. So that is a business unit. Now, when we talk about business level strategies, of course, in each business units, meron silang sari-sariling team, 'di ba? Of course, meron silang sariling marketing team, meron silang sariling sales, meron silang sariling advertisement department, ganyan. So, kanya-kanyang pag-formulate ng strategies in each business units. Yung pag-develop ng mga cellphones ng Apple, yung team na responsible doon is different from the team responsible for the development of laptops. And that is yun nga, no? Yun yung mga business units. And then of course, they have their own strategies as well. Iba ang strategy ng pag-develop ng cellphones sa strategies ng pag-develop ng laptops. Same goes with our food industry. Like say for example, Jollibee. Jollibee Food Corp is one of the biggest food corporations here in the Philippines, and they own many well-known brands such as Greenwich, Mang Inasal, Red Ribbon, Chowking, and Burger King na ngayon lang daw na-add. Uh, Ngayon, yun yung business units ng Jollibee. Iba ang marketing department ng Greenwich sa marketing department ng Mang Inasal. Iba ang Mang Inasal marketing department sa Red Ribbon. And they have their own strategies as well on how they want their business units to develop. Next, we have functional level strategy. Ito naman yung um, within the business units. Meron tayong mga marketing department, meron tayong human resource department, operations department, finance, accounting, and in each functional areas, meron din tayong mga sari-sariling team na nag-formulate ng strategies. So, yun yung tatlong level ng strategies natin. We have the corporate level, which is the whole company, moving forward, moving backward, or stable, sustain. We have business level strategies on each business units in each companies. And we have the functional level strategy here in each department naman. Dito sa atin sa SJC, ang business units dito ay yung mga department na meron tayo sa education. Like say for example, tayo sa School of Management, we are our own business unit. And then we have yung CAHAS, yung College of Applied Health and Sciences. They are their own business units as well. We have the CAS department, yung College of Arts and Sciences. Yun naman yung meron silang sariling business units din. Criminology department, meron din silang sariling business unit. They have their own means or ways kung paano papatakbuhin yung department na yon. And when we say functional level strategy naman sa SJC, nandyan yung registrar, nandyan yung HR, nandyan yung accounting, nandyan yung marketing, nandyan yung different levels, different functional departments. Proceed tayo sa strategic types. Sorry. Now, when we talk about strategic types, ito yung usually ang strategic types ginagawa ito doon sa corporate level strategies or yung papaano nga mag-move yung yung company natin. Usually ang gumagawa ng mga ganitong klase ay yung mga owners ng businesses. So, hindi lang particularly for big companies, pati sa mga small-time businesses or yung mga kaka-start lang na business, they can also implement these strategic types. So, we have first defenders. Pag sa defenders, ang pinaka-focus talaga nila is to focus on one business unit, focus on that business unit, and try to be efficient as much as possible. So ano yung example ng defenders na ito? Dito sa module natin nakalagay yung RC Cola. I think this is also one of the best examples I can give you. RC Cola exists or is already existing for a long time. Kahit nung bata pa ako, I believe, ano pa lang ako noon, mga elementary, meron ng RC Cola. And ever since they existed, RC Cola remained RC and ARC Refreshments only focused on one product or one business unit, which is RC Cola. And they focus on that. They focus on how to minimize cost. They focus on how to market their products to the people. So yun yung defenders natin. Usually they only focus on one business unit. Hindi sila risk takers. They are not risk takers. Innovation is out of their way of thinking. What they really want is to focus on one business unit and focus on strengthening that one business unit. So, ARC Refreshments only focused on the development of RC Cola. And tingnan nyo naman hanggang ngayon, di ba? They are still existing. And they are still competing with other beverage products like Coca-Cola and Pepsi. So, yun. Next is prospectors. Ang difference naman niya sa defenders, of course, is sila yung risk takers. Sila yung gawa ng bagong product. They like to innovate things. So when we talk about prospectors, one thing is for sure, what they want is to move forward. They want to have growth. So doon nagfo-focus ang kanilang strategies moving forward. So, panay ang kanilang innovate ng mga bagong products. One of the best examples I can give is also here in the modules. Samsung and Apple, they are obvious prospectors. Every year, almost, naglalabas sila ng mga, ng mga bagong products sila. And they keep on competing with each other para malaman kung sino nga ba talaga ang mas magaling gumawa ng gadgets natin. So they continue to strive to develop, they strive growth, they continue to look for new possibilities, innovation. So yun yung pinagkaiba naman ng prospector sa defenders. Sa defenders, they don't like innovation. They only want to focus on one business unit and develop that business unit. Whereas with prospectors, they want to innovate things, they want to grow, they want to move forward with new products. With analyzers naman, ito yung pinagsamang defenders and prospectors. Tingin ko ang pinaka best way to explain analyzers is to give this example. Jollibee Food Corp or the Jollibee company itself can be put under analyzer. Why? Kasi they already strive with one business unit but also want to try other things as well. So Jollibee is already a developed company sa pagdating sa food and beverage establishments, pero they also want to pursue real estate or infrastructure businesses natin. Infrastructure business naman sila. So, yun. Another thing, si SM kanina, sa example natin kanina, they can be put under analyzer as well. They are already prominent or kilala na sila or well established na sila pagdating sa isang market wherein yun yung mga malls nila, na yung mga mall. Pero since gusto nilang mag-develop pa, they try to venture into other things such as banking, dun sa nakita natin kanina. So when it comes to analyzers, um, it is common for analyzers to operate in at least two product market areas, a stable one and a dynamic one. Doon sa stable area, they try to be efficient, while in the dynamic area, they try to be innovative. So, doon sa example sa binigay ko, Jollibee is already prominent parating sa food and beverage industry. So that is their stable market area. And now they want to venture into other things. They want to try new products or new business units. Um, that is why they explored into infrastructure. And infrastructure, that is their dynamic market area. Sa SM naman, ganun din. Ang stable market area nila is yung mga malls. Now, they want to try other things as well. That is why they ventured into banking. And yung banking naman, yun yung dynamic market area nila. And that is analyzers. Um, you are already successful, or you are already stable in one market area, or meron ka ng foundation, meron ka ng nasimulan, meron ka ng ongoing na business dito sa market area na ito, and now you want to venture into other things as well. You want to go out of your comfort zone and find other things, explore other industries, and that is analyzers. When we talk about reactors naman, uh, reactors are those strategy, or those businesses na saka lang sila gumagalaw pag pag apektado sila. Ganun. I think that is the that is the most simple way I can describe reactors. Saka lang sila gagalaw pag apektado na sila. And of course, that is not good for a business. You should before the problem comes, you should know what to do. You should know what to expect and how to deal with it. So hindi ka lang basta-basta dapat nagre-react. Dapat ikaw ay nag-aano rin, nagfo-formulate din ng sarili mong strategies. Before I move on with the next module, there is no specific type that will dictate the success of an organization. Kasi syempre, 'di ba? Iba-iba kasi tayo ng gusto, iba-iba tayo ng mga utak. So, hindi ko sabihin na dapat defender ka lang. Hindi ko rin gustong sabihin sa inyo na dapat ganito ka lang, dapat ganito ang strategies mo. Hindi. It's all up to you. And you can also change, of course, your strategy types, no? Hindi ka naman pwede kang magsimula as defender, like focus on one business unit, and then as you move forward, you can be an analyzer, wherein you will try other things. So, pwede yon, no? It's a mix and match of different strategy types na yun, pwede nyong i-implement din sa inyo pag kayo ay future business owners na. And now, lastly, ito na ang approaches in formulating strategy. This will be our last module to discuss for this video discussion. So, let's begin with the approaches. To be honest, yun napakadali lang naman intindihin nitong formulating strategies, since we already talked about since we already talked about corporate level strategy. We know business level and we know functional level strategies. Doon lang din magfo-focus yung different approaches. When we say approaches in formulating strategy, papaano nga ba ang pag-formulate ng strategy natin? Sino ang magsisimula mag-formulate ng strategy? Sino ang magsisimula ng environmental scanning natin? And then, papaano mag-flow yung strategies na iyon? Of course, meron tayong tatlo. We have top-bottom approach, we have bottom-top approach, and we have top-bottom-top approach. Aha. When we say top-bottom approach, all the planning and formulation will come from the top-level management or yung corporate level strategies, and then it will be implemented down to the middle level management, and then middle level management will implement it to the bottom level management, and bottom level management will implement it to the rank and file. So ganun lang siya kasimple. Every formulation or planning will come from the top level management, and it will go down up to the rank and file or yung mga employees natin. So this kind of approach usually aligns the whole organization to the wants and vision of the top level managers, such as CEO, senior executives, and board of directors. So if our top level managers will decide to move forward or yung growth, yun yung doon ko focus ang strategies natin. So expect that if your top level managers will want development in the company, expect that you will you will get you will have responsibilities na medyo magiging challenging para sa inyo. So if your top level managers would want to be stable or want to sustain their current status, and then syempre retain kung ano yung ginagawa ninyo. So ganun lang siya. Next is the bottom top approach. With the bottom top approach naman, every planning will come from the bottom level, from the employees. So yung mga employees natin, since sila usually ang nakikipagsalamuha or sila talaga mismo yung gumagawa ng paraan para magkapera yung mga top level managers natin. Alam ng rank and file or alam ng mga employees kung ano yung mga makabubuti para sa company. Like say for example, yung mga dito sa St. Jude, 'di ba? Yung mga faculty members natin. Kami as bottom level management, um, we try to hear as well yung sa loobin ng aming mga faculty members. Tinatanong namin sila kung ano yung mga best approaches nila when it comes to teaching, ano yung mga problems na na-encounter nila, ano yung mga tingin nilang kailangan pang i-improve ng St. Jude or ng FINMA, St. Jude, yun nga. And then from there on, once we have those information, ibabato namin yon sa mga middle-level management namin or kila chef. And then sila chef, ibabato nila yon sa top-level management natin, which is yung mga COO and ACOO natin. So that is the bottom-top approach. Strategies and ideas will come from the employees or from those who are directly doing the primary objective of the company. Sila yung nasa operations itself. We try to get their voices, we try to get their ideas, and then from there ibabato papunta sa top level management to review and finalize. So yun ang bottom top approach. Instead na yung top level management yung magpa-plan at magpo-formulate ng ideas, ang magpa-plan at magpo-formulate ng ideas this time is yung mga employees. And the employees will try to communicate their own ideas dun sa top level management by communicating it with the proper channels. And then top level management will be the one to review and finalize those plan and those ideas. Ito usually yung sige, mamaya na yun. Next is the finally we have top bottom top approach. When we talk about top bottom top approach, it's sort of like a combination of the two. So the top level management will plan and formulate strategies, communicate it to the middle, communicate it to the bottom level, and then the bottom level management will communicate it to the rank and file. Once the rank and file employees will implement those strategies, bottom level management will try to get feedback from the employees. So, kamusta ang naging strategy natin? Ano ang mga naging challenges ninyo? Ano yung mga naging ano yung mga naging yun yan, ang mga naging challenges ninyo when implementing the strategy? Papaano tingin ninyo papaano tayo mag-move forward? How can we become better from this situation? So, once na nakuha na yung feedback ng rank and file will then give as well their suggestions, their plans, their strategies, yung tingin nilang um, tingin nilang mas magde-develop pa yung strategies na in-implement ng top level. And then bottom level will communicate it to the middle level, and middle level will communicate it to the top level to review and finalize. So, ito usually yung ginagawa, madalas, of course, sa mga company. Top-bottom, top approach. Ito rin, usually, yung nangyayari dito sa St. Jude. Example nito is yung enrollment natin, ito nakaraang enrollment. The top level management wanted to create this Pedro tracker para sa mga nag-enroll, no? Para sa mga nagsumagot doon sa Pedro tracker natin. And then, top level management wanted to implement Pedro tracker. So, they communicated it to the middle level. Middle level management communicated it to the bottom level. And then bottom level management, we communicated it to our faculty members. And then after that, we asked our faculty members kung ano yung mga tingin nilang um, ideas na mas makabubuti para mas madaling ma-implement yung Pedro tracker. And from that, our faculty members gave their suggestions, gave their own ideas for the enrollment, and then we communicated it to our middle level management, to our deans, and then yung middle level management, they communicated it to the top level management to review and finalize the whole strategy. So that's it for our first video discussion. And I hope kahit paano meron kayong natutunan, no, dito sa dito sa video discussion. Pasensya na kung panay din ng ubo ko. I hope meron kayong natutunan nga. And yon. In case na meron kayong hindi naintindihan, you can always go back to the video. And that's it. Mag-iingat kayo, guys, sa panahon ngayon. Dumadami ulit ang cases natin. And, yun. Please stay safe, everyone. It's really a hard time right now. Take lots of vitamins. Alagaan ninyo ang sarili ninyo. Always wear mask and disinfect kung saan man kayo pupunta. Ayun lang. Mag-iingat kayo and paalam.